Now that we have our logo imported into Premiere, you can see that it comes in its own little bin and creates the separate layers that we need for our PSD. We have the graphic itself, and then we have the production title, in my case. So with this, we're going to start with just the logo. We're going to put this on video track 1. And we're going to extend this out, grab the end, and we'll extend it about to 10 seconds. Now what we want to do is we want to make this logo bounce. So it's going to drop in from the top of the screen, land here, and then bounce back up, and then bounce till it comes to a stop. So what we need to do is come to our effects controls. Now the first thing we want to do is adjust our anchor point. So we'll take our anchor point and we're going to put this right down at the very bottom of our circle. Now we need to start keyframing. So with keyframing, we're going to set our first position. And we'll move this straight up and just outside of the screen. So that's our first keyframe. Now we're going to move ahead 5 frames. A quick way to move 5 frames is to hold down Shift and your right arrow. Now we're going to take this, we're going to grab it and bring it down, hold down Shift. This will keep it in line and we'll get it centered again. And now that's our first keyframe. We'll go ahead and go 5 keyframes again, so Shift and your forward arrow. And we'll bring this back up. So we'll hold down, we'll move it up and hold down Shift. And we're going to take it maybe to about right here. We'll go 5 frames in again. And we'll drag it back down to our center point. We'll go 5 frames forward. Bring it up, maybe at about right here. And as you can see, this is what we have. So we're going to keep going and building these keyframes. Now you may want to adjust to get the proper bounce how the difference in those keyframes are. Now that we have our position bouncing the way we're comfortable with, we're going to add, to make it more dynamic and make it like a bouncing ball. So as a ball bounces, it compresses. So right here, we're at our second keyframe. We're going to take our scale and go back 1. We'll go back 1 frame. And we'll set a keyframe. When we hit here, we're going to set this at 50. We'll set another keyframe here. We'll go up 1, and then we'll set this at 150. We will go to this keyframe. We will set this and put this back to 0. As we go through and navigate through each one, adjusting according to the bounce. We will continue to set keyframes and make the squish and bounce as we see fit. Now that we have our logo bouncing in, we want to bring in our other layer. So when this gets to its last keyframe, we're going to bring in our productions text layer. We'll extend this the length of our clip. So now you can see it comes in and the productions comes on. We don't want the productions to just come on. We want to make sure that it comes on, that it fades in. So we're going to take our opacity, we're going to set a keyframe, and we're going to set this to 0. Then we're going to move ahead 10 frames. So we'll hold down Shift and hit the forward arrow twice. We'll set a keyframe and bring this up to 100. So now, after it bounces in, the productions phase. Now we're going to let this hold long enough to be read. So about right there. Now at this point, we're going to select both of these and cut both clips. So Apple K. Now at this point, we're going to take this section and we're going to nest these two items. And the reason we're doing this is going to allow both layers to now become one object that we can manipulate, and we can change the parameters of everything for this one aspect. So we'll hold down Control and we'll go to Nest. We'll name our sequence and hit OK. So now with our nested object, we want to roll the logo off screen. So after it has sat long enough to read, we are going to set a keyframe for our position and a keyframe for rotation. Then we will move forward to the end of the clip, and in this case I put the rotation at 10x and I move the position off screen. And this is the result we end up with. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. It's moving slower than what we'd hope. So we'll just take our position keyframe and move it back. Then we'll play again. That feels a little bit better. Maybe we can move the, and there, now that feels good. So now we have our logo comes in, bounces, and then rolls off screen.